Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at potential sneak peeks. Well, I want to come with a brand new update because we have only 17 days left until the brand new season, and also just go through a bunch of things that Brawl Stars devs talked about on their new podcast, which is on their main channel. If you missed it, there's a lot to dive into. So before we jump into the video, then make sure you're using a creator code. That'd be greatly appreciated. And without further ado, let's jump into it. Alright guys, jumping into the first game then. So we're just going to be talking about in general what was spoke about on the podcast. And then also, of course, what I want to see brand new updates and where this update and the future Brawl Stars will go. So to begin with, I watched the full 2 hours, as I mentioned in the intro. You can watch it on the Brawl Stars channel. I definitely recommend it just because it's a lot different than we normally get. But like, especially with other games that I've played, we never really get like a podcast literally of them casually talking, like the dev team, on like the future of Brawl Stars. So I think it's a really big step in the right direction just because, again, they're being so transparent about the future of the game. So of course, that's going to be really good. So hopefully we can get this thing down in time. Nice jump from Search. Nice. So the first one is going to be... the first comment they made was about Mortis. I think Ark made the comment. And that's, of course, like, how come, like, Mortis isn't nerfed considering, like, how much he's used? So basically, of course, like, play rates, win rates... the big thing is that he has a big play rate, but his win rates are terrible. So, of course, you don't really need to buff him, but he isn't really the best in a competitive meta. And that's one thing they actually highlighted multiple times, especially when they were regarding Edgar as well, is that not every single brawler in the game has to be, like, competitively viable. Like, that's not their aim with Brawl Stars, which would be nice for everything to be balanced. You know, me, myself, as a pro player, would be pretty nice for everything to be balanced, but that's not their aim. So, of course, there's some brawlers like Edgar, Chester, Mortis that can just be fun, and then you have most of the other brawlers, which, of course, has to be, like, competitively viable. Of course, this also goes in tune with Shelly, like how Shelly is only really viable at the lower end. That's the exact same reason they said why they can't really like rework Edgar. So that's one big talking point they had as well with Edgar, is that I don't think there's going to be a rework with Edgar anytime soon. You know, everyone in the community was talking about it, but by the sounds of it, I don't feel like they want to actually change him, mainly because of the fact that literally he's like one of the most loved brawlers. So why would they risk reworking one of the most loved brawlers in the game? Even if he's not competitively viable, people love his mechanics right now, so they don't really want to change that. Maybe if there's something they can change and make him a little bit better but still keep the same mechanics, that might work in the future. But it just really sounded like they were against reworking him for now. So we'll see where that kind of goes in the future. So that's just talking about in essence just the kind of balancing of brawlers, and they're touching on a lot of different things. But obviously, like, Edgar's always like the hottest topic. The like most popular brawlers, Mortis and Edgar, always going to be some of the biggest talking points. So you can see I'm like the worst Mortis in the world, but it just goes to show, like, Mortis is only really strong. The general people feel like Mortis is just way too OP, especially in Brawl Ball, but he's only really strong in the right scenario. Like, he's only really a good counter pick to a lot of the squishier brawlers. But when it comes down to just ladder and those blind picks, you know, there's a lot of brawlers that he will struggle against. So we should be able to score here, hopefully, with our max dashing in. And that's going to be the first game. Let's hop into the next one. Alright guys, so next up we're going to be taking a look at the spoiler which they included with the podcast. And that is going to be that they kind of sneak peeked what the new brawler is going to be in terms of the trios. So they said that the brand new brawler is going to actually complete one of the trios, and they seem to like laugh a little bit. So what my thinking is, I'll put a graphic on the screen which trios are missing. There's about 4 trios that just need one new brawler. Then there's like quite a few brawlers that need a lot of them. Okay, that was just terrible dynamite play, but need a lot of them. There's like 5 trios that only have one brawler in it. But I think what they mean by that is that there might be like another double brawler. So just like how there was Janet and Bonnie, I think there might be another double brawler, because again, they kind of highlighted in the podcast as well that their like favorite introduction in the game was actually the introduction of Janet and Bonnie. Like, they was the most happy about those characters. So I feel like there might be like another duo like that could complete maybe like the Buzz trio or the Underwater trio. It'll be really interesting because it's pretty hard to kind of actually fill the void in a lot of these trios, because they were a Brawl Pass kind of theme. So it's a bit hard to kind of fit the theme of like the Candyland trio, for example. So it'll be really interesting. I will keep you guys updated if you guys want to kind of see that on this channel. Normally you guys want to see the competitive gameplay, but you know, I'm interested in the lore, I'm interested in all the brand new things, updates, and whenever I get any information, of course, I'll try and keep you guys inclined. But it's pretty hard because normally you kind of get these sneak peeks through the graphics, right? But there's not been any graphics like close to Brawl Talk. Brawl Talk should be pretty soon, so let's just jump into the next bit. All right, guys, jumping into the next game, and so let's talk more into what they actually spoke about on the podcast. The key things to highlight. As I said, I watched all of it and made notes. So the first one, they mentioned it pretty early, was with the chromatic shop. So basically, they're not really too happy with the chromatic shop. We've kind of known that for a long while, but the main thing that they're going to do is, I think from what I gathered, is not change it just yet, but they have got plans in the future to change it, just because it definitely is a little bit too hard to get the brand new brawlers. But of course, they want to make it like that for the most part, because they are a company at the end of the day. They need to make their profits, and like, what is the point of buying the Brawl Pass if, you know, everyone can just get it, right? Like, people want to buy the Brawl Pass because that Brawler is Brawl Pass exclusive. So that is a very good point they did make. We should be able to kill this Ash. No, I actually think I'm going to go down there. A little bit unfortunate. But yeah, that was one key thing they said. So chromatic shop change, maybe the next update, maybe in a few updates time. It will be pretty nice to see for sure, because again, I've got a free-to-play account and the prices are quite extortionate, especially if you want to get one of the brand new brawlers. It's just impossible, and it's really bad value for your chromatic points. So there's that to bear in mind as well. They also mentioned Fame. Like, Fame was a hot topic when Fame first came out. I've seen it all over Reddit and all over Twitter. Is that Fame doesn't really need a rework. They were pretty clear with that. Fame doesn't need any kind of change. Maybe they might like add like profile pictures or kind of that thing. Maybe make it a little bit more flashy, because Fame, well, Frank was very clear about it. It replaced nothing. Like, let's face it, like, especially I've been a max player since basically Brawl Stars came out, and all I used to get when I opened up boxes was coins. So at least Fame, you can show off like how many Fame points you've got, especially with the brand new like loading screen. I think it's definitely at a good place right now, but you know, there's room for improvement. We can always get like a Fame icon, maybe like a Fame trail, like you get like a little cool trail on your Brawler. I don't know, they're definitely looking into the kind of aesthetics about it. And then next up, what a good point I heard as well is that masteries with game modes. So we've seen that masteries of game modes could be a good introduction to Brawl Stars. We already have it with Brawlers. Why not game modes? It definitely seemed like they wanted to include that into the game. So, I mean, I'll be getting my mastery in Brawl in no time. Showdown, that'll probably take me forever, but it'll be pretty nice. You know, we have the Brawlers, we have the game modes. We can have multiple different ways to master in Brawl Stars. Like, what if you just don't play, well, what if you just play Brawl 24/7? You want to kind of flex down your profile, right? So that's going to be another game. Let's hop into the next one. All right, guys, so now jumping into kind of the final parts of the video, just discussing the final points of the podcast and what I expect to come with their brand new update events. So from what I gathered overall, it looks like from the update, we might get a lot of quality of life features. Like, I feel like there might be quite a few changes. We've seen as well, Frank is very open on Twitter about, well, not very open. He gives a few little hints as to what could potentially come with the update. You know, there was a big talk about how all these exclusive skins, that there could be like color variations of it. I think I definitely would love that. I think, of course, like for people that already own the skin, it'll probably come at a discounted price, but I think that will be a good addition to the game. So I expect that to come in future updates. Maybe not the next one, but definitely for the future updates to come. We also spoke about like how the biggest mistake was definitely with power 11s and gears. We kind of knew that, of course, with a lot of controversy and a lot of time kind of wasted in a sense, because they had to fix it. They said they would have definitely done things differently and went from they would have, instead of doing both power 11, both power 10 and power 11, better just gone to power 10. That is definitely like the big gap from power 9 to power 11 was probably a bit too much for the community to begin with. So that is a good thing to know as well. There's a few other things as well then. So just looking at like all my bullet points so far, we have that there might be like a story mode coming to the game. So we've already had this kind of inkling that there might be a story mode, you know, maybe links with Star Park. They were in development with a few of them, I believed, but they kind of scrapped it because I thought it wasn't like representative of what they wanted. So they're definitely in the works for it, guys. So that is really exciting. The story mode in Brawl Stars definitely will be really nice. I'm definitely excited to kind of explore that, just because the lore is something that I always want to explore in Brawl Stars. And there's a lot of potential there. That goes to my next point as well. Lore is one of the hottest topics as well when it comes down to Brawl Stars. Is there going to be any more lore in the game? There already is lore in the game, Frank said, but you have to read in between the lines. So actually that's going to be one game. Let's hop into the last one. Alright guys, so jumping into the final game. But as I was mentioning about the lore then, so they said they want to include more lore into the game, but they just want it to be perfect, because the last time they introduced lore, it was just like a bombshell, but it was just so good that it was kind of hard to top it. And it was like they didn't actually kind of plan lore at the beginning of their kind of cycle, so it's pretty hard to kind of follow with it, if you get what I mean. So but definitely it works with it, but as Frank said, there is, like, if you read in between the lines, there still is some lore. So I'm excited to hopefully see some more lore in the future, because that was kind of at the start of my YouTube career. Like, I want one of the creators that got like the packages from Star Park. I mean, hopefully I'm in the next lore. I actually really loved seeing those types of videos, especially with like Kara's Tim and stuff like that. Next is the weekend mode. So I actually think in this update that we'll get some new weekend modes, just because again, the devs were like really clear about it. Themselves were very clear and said like they're sick of the weekend modes themselves. It feels like a chore. Now that describes it exactly perfect. It feels like a chore. I don't even play it on my free-to-play account. It is very boring. Like, a lot of times people just don't even play in boss fight, and it doesn't feel challenging anymore. So I think there could be a big revamp to weekend modes pretty soon. Me myself, when those weekend modes just came out, it was really exciting, especially people like YDE trying to get the fastest time. It was a really exciting time, and now it just feels like a chore. Everyone's already done it before. We've seen the brand new weekend mode with, I think, 8-bit. That isn't in the game anymore, but they seem to have definitely experimenting. So I might expect that with a brand new update. But there's a lot of things to kind of go into. They're talking about also the gadgets and star powers. They definitely need to look into that in the future as well, which I will do a video on that in the next few days for sure. And just overall, we just spoke about a lot of different things. The potential of third star powers and gadgets in the future. We already know that kind of, like, that's just a given. With already 2, it would be nice to have 3 for every single brawler. That would be kind of crazy, right? But that's going to be it for today's video. So the big kind of thing to take back from this is that the devs are really open, and especially in the future they'll be doing a lot more videos just talking about what the community really want to like the unanswered community questions, sorry. But definitely a step in the right direction. In terms of a new update, we only really got to know like the potential of a new brawler. I feel like there's definitely a few things that we'll look back on and say, oh, they literally said it in the podcast and we missed it. So let me know whether you've seen anything in the comment section below. But excited for this brand new update. Only a couple of weeks to go. Brawl Talks probably in a few weekends time. Next weekend, the weekend after, it's going to be pretty soon. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.